Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men.
January 26th. Edward Law. Ed had a hard life, and it kept getting worse. The day came when Ed got desperate for his life to change, and he found a way out. Here is his story.
Be brave enough to ask for help and caring enough to give it. Ed Law sat with a loaded rifle pointed at himself, his finger on the trigger. His self-described crazy, stupid, and wild life was about to end. Ed felt like this was his only way out. He was miserable, and he was finally going to escape. He felt out of breath, as if he had been running, not just slumped in a chair drinking. Running away like a scared kid. He had been scared all of his childhood. He called it growing up hard, but really, it was growing up scared. Now he was scared again, scared and embarrassed and ashamed. Asking anyone for help with his stupid life would expose him for the failure he was. But he was starting to wonder if giving up on his life hurt his pride just as much as admitting that he needed help. What if there was a better way than running away from the shame and the problems his wild life had caused? What if there was a better way he was missing out on? With the words "a better way" still running through his mind, Ed reached for another drink. Those words seemed familiar. He tried to think of what the rest of the words were. Something about Jesus having a better way of life. In that moment, Ed remembered that the man he was buying a house from was some sort of Bible preacher. A guy like that might be able to help him. Ed took a deep breath and put the gun aside. Shaking, he stood up and gathered himself. He was going to give this a try. It was a little past 3 a.m. when Ed pounded on Joe Thomas's front door. Joe had met Ed a few days earlier when Ed submitted an offer to buy Joe's house. Joe had accepted Ed's offer. Now, Joe peeked out the door, and he looked a little bit scared. "Mr. Law?" Joe said. "Yeah, that's me. I'm the guy buying this house." Ed knew his words were slurred. "You gotta help me, man. Hey, what's the rest of that verse?" Ed leaned in. "You must know, you're a preacher, right?" Joe said, "Well, not exactly." Ed kept talking. "The verse is something like, 'a better way,' or 'he is the life.'" "Joe, I'm done with my life. I'm either going to end it or I'm getting a new one." Now, Joe heard the panic in the man's voice. Despite his own nervousness, Joe opened the door and asked Ed to sit at the kitchen table. Joe opened a Bible to John 14:6, and he told Ed, "I'm pretty sure you're talking about this verse." Jesus answered, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." Joe read some other verses to help explain the new life that Jesus offers. Now, completely sober, Ed looked at Joe. "I want this. I'm ready for the life Jesus can give me." Years later, Ed told that story and shook his head. He had almost missed out on that better way. But he had found hope, forgiveness, and a new life because he had made the decision to go find Joe. Ed's new life in Christ is not free of problems, but now he has God's strength and the support of other believers to help him face the problems. Ed now extends help to other people who struggle, just like Joe helped him. Ed's advice is always the same. Stop running, get help, talk to somebody, and get Jesus into your life. He is the better way. Psalm 71 says, "O Lord, I have come to you for protection. Don't let me be disgraced. Save me and rescue me, for you do what is right. Turn your ear to listen to me and set me free. My life is an example to many, because you have been my strength and protection." What problems or habits are overwhelming your life? Talk to someone. Is someone asking you for help? How can you be available to them? Be brave enough to ask for help and be caring enough to give it.
Thank you for listening to today's story. Every day of the year, our hope is to inspire you with real-life stories of faithful men who have gone before us. Hebrews 12:1 says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily ensnares us. Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." Join us tomorrow for another story at 365christianmen.com.